Of the NCAA tournament from Portland, Oregon, the 7th-seeded VCU Rams against the 10th-seeded Ohio State Buckeyes, with the winner taking on 2-seed Arizona. They just took care of 15-seed Texas Southern. Great to have you with us this afternoon. Kevin Harlan, Hall of Famer Reggie Miller, and Dan Bonner with Rachel Nichols on our sideline. Welcome to the Pacific Northwest. The Buckeyes have one of the best freshmen in all of college basketball.
They sure do, and D'Angelo Russell is a do-everything guy for the Ohio State Buckeyes, but he's been quoted as saying his favorite thing is passing the ball, and he has had some spectacular ones. He sort of ranks them as, up to his all-time favorites. This may be his favorite right there, the bounce pass through traffic. This is a guy, he's a big risk taker, so risk-reward type of thing, and yep, take a bow when you make a pass like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, one player who hopes to be bound at the end of this game is Trevion Graham. This young man can flat out score 16 and 7. Now, when Shaka Smart's going to need a bucket, especially without Briante Weber on the floor, Graham is going to be their go-to guy.
There's a look at Thad Matta. He's in his 11th season. He's been a head coach at Butler and Xavier, and now a very successful run for the Buckeyes. And here is his crew. See D'Angelo Russell. They have some seniors there, Scott and Thompson, along with Amir Williams in the middle. And for 26-9, VCU, we talked about Trevion Graham. And they've got some strength with Terry Larrier, who is a freshman out of the Bronx and a good one. He was recruited by Shaka Smart. He has taken his team deep into this tournament back in 2011. He has decided to put up a long-term residency in Richmond at VCU, and he's got the Rams winning 5 straight and as Atlantic 10 tournament champions. Mike Reed, one of our officials, 11 NCAA tournaments for him. Tony Henderson, this is his 2nd tournament, and Kevin Brill in his 7th. The Buckeyes out of the Ohio State program at 23-10 in the Big Ten. And Reggie, they finished 6th in the conference at 11-7.
This is another game that's all going to be predicated on pace. How Ohio State handles that havoc offense and that defensive pressure, Dan, is going to be key, because we know, even though he is a sensational freshman, D'Angelo Russell at times can turn the basketball over.
He likes to take risks, and sometimes that means throwing it out the door. For VCU, Shaka Smart told us yesterday, the key is, can they make shots?
We said they were the A-10 tournament champions. They won 4 games in 4 days to advance to this. In the regular season in the A-10, they were 4th with a record of 12-6, and away we go.
There's the man-to-man defense. Doug Brooks, number 5 in white, is matched up against D'Angelo Russell.
Beautiful look away. Scott inside to Amir Williams.
A lot of things you're going to see, too, for Ohio State and Thad Matta, especially when Russell comes off that high screen and roll. Shaka told us yesterday, I don't mind all the switching, but there was a breakdown defensively there. Not a lot of communication in the back line.
This is Trevion Graham, who hits the 3. The leading scorer, as Reggie talked about, in the A-10 tournament, had 17 points and a double-double. Williams and Moelle Cox. Big man against big man.
That should be a travel.
Look out, here comes the freshman, but they lose the ball the other way, and trying to cash in on the basket was Larrier, and he finally got it. Brooks with the putback. He's got 2.
Boy, that's good hustle. A lot of times the guy has a free shot like that, everybody stops, but Brooks followed the play.
Well, didn't you see the end of VCU's practice yesterday? Everyone was going after loose balls. They don't give up on plays.
With a nice dive inside and a lot of bodies colliding. We had a foul. It goes on VCU.
Let's see if we can see where the breakdown is. There's Amir Williams, and he is just going to roll to the basket. See, there's Moelle Cox. He does not get back. He's the guy guarding Amir Williams, and he can't get back. He's trying to help with the screen. Reggie, you're absolutely right. Nobody rotated down.
Jay-Sean Tate is at the free throw line. He is a freshman from Pickering, Ohio, Central High School.
Thad Matta in the starting lineup with Jay-Sean Tate and D'Angelo Russell. This is something 2 freshmen that is counted on for big minutes and production here for Ohio State.
key word for this VCU Ram team is havoc. They like to cause it on both ends of the floor, but especially on defense with their transition game trying to benefit. Cross court in the corner. Lewis the drive. Outside. Brooks. And now Graham. A three. Travion Graham knocks it in. The A-10 tournament MVP. He is 2 of 2.
If you're Shaka Smart, you could not have scripted a better start for your star player in Travion Graham. Back-to-back threes. Now that's going to allow those driving opportunities as Brooks picks up his first foul versus D'Angelo Russell.
Brooks picks up a foul, his second. Let's take a look behind the stats. It's all presented by LG.
And Ohio State shoots the ball very well, and you can see they do a nice job forcing turnovers. They don't commit very many of themselves, but VCU, of course, that's their reputation. They force turnovers, and they convert those turnovers into baskets.
And obviously that number is down in steals. The last 3 years, this VCU Rams team led the nation in steals, obviously without the best steal man in the game, in the college game, in Briante Weber.
That is Shannon Scott who knocks it in for the Buckeyes. By the way, over on CBS right now, 11 seed Texas, 6 seed Butler. We're going down to the wire with under 2 to play in a 1-point game. We've had some surprises, a couple of 14s, beating a couple of 3s this afternoon already.
And the Big 12 taking it on the chin here early on in this tournament.
Shannon Scott trying to get it by midcourt. The defense of Jaquan Lewis is right there.
Tell you what, I am loving the pressure here from VCU defensively.
Take the look away. Thompson comes with a two-handed flush.
That's great ball handling against the pressure. You get the ball out of that trap, you move it quickly, you're going to get a wide open shot. Can't do any better than a Sam Thompson dunk.
Elvin Johnson with the runner.
He's the best shooter perimeter-wise for this VCU Rams ball club. Hesitated on that three, but recognized no one was guarding him and got into the lane with the little teardrop.
Now he's Johnson, in addition to shooting and scoring, he's going to be asked to match up against Russell.
Scott, triple. Rebound, collected inside Valerio.
Valerio is long. This freshman, skinny, long, athletic. Kind of player I like.
One of the highest rated high school players to enroll at VCU. Mo Alley cocks it outside. Graham with a three. His first miss. Nice tip. Offensive board into Laurier. And the pass from Graham.
Nice unselfish play there by Travion Graham on that offensive rebounding. I thought he was going to try to challenge Amir Williams. Did a great job of recognizing Laurier was diving to the basket.
Buckeyes in the NCAA tournament for 7 consecutive seasons through the hands of Williams. Picked up by Laurier. Right to the rack and floats in, but can't get the breakaway to go with enough defense by the Buckeyes to distract them. Shaka Smart and VCU by 5 on TNT.
Well, Kev, VCU is the high seed in this game, but the players are aware just how many people are picking the Buckeyes to upset them, and that, frankly, is due to the efforts of their coach, Shaka Smart. Shaka made a video compilation of all the network experts who were picking Ohio State. He even showed his team President Obama picking the Buckeyes. And guys, well, he joked about that last one. Maybe it was more about getting all those electoral votes in Ohio. He was dead serious with the quote he told me he wrote on the board before these guys came out to the court here. Quote, kill or be killed.
You know, Rachel, he's compiled books of those kind of sayings, and I know that he's got experience deep into this tournament from the past.
Absolutely. Guys say they don't know what quote they're going to get. They usually don't have to do with basketball. He'll also talk to them about famous literary figures as ways to inspire them, always teaching them, but always with a purpose to win on the court.
Rachel, thank you. Good stuff. Jay Shante getting 2 right there, and they go outside. Melvin Johnson with the miss.
Well, to Shaka Smart, how about having the bullseye in your back as Ohio State continues to run here, and if you're Emil Williams, you've got to dunk that basketball.
Well, you certainly don't get it stuck on the rim.
I mean, come on now. You're 7 foot. In transition, you let the guy go by, and you go up and dunk the basketball.
That's amazing that ball got stuck
That a
there.
layup would do that.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Now, in his defense, he did have to let the guy fly by.
No, Dan. No. Why are you... I understand that the guy flew by. You gather yourself and you go up and you try to break the backboard.
Larrier will sit, and Jonathan Williams will come in for the Rams. And Jonathan Williams has the ball right now. Graham, Johnson, and back to Williams. Williams is a freshman from Richmond.
Between Williams and Lewis, Shaka Smart telling us yesterday the loss of Breonte Weber to that knee injury. Both players have done a fantastic job of manning that point guard position.
Patience with offense. Long shot right here. Burgess can't get it. Russell. Tate. And a whistle. And a travel.
Everybody going just a little bit too fast on that particular fast break opportunity. And I think one of the reasons was that VCU got right after him. A lot of times teams are just falling back. But VCU actually attacked the basketball and I think forced that turnover.
Mark Loving is going to check in along with Trey McDonald for the Buckeyes, joining Russell, Scott, and Thompson.
Might be a clock issue here.
Might be. With an experienced crew dealing with VCU in their 5th consecutive NCAA tournament. They've also been in the Rams 7 of the last 9 years. And this has been familiar territory too. We talked about with Ohio State with their 7th consecutive appearance. But Dan, they've won at least 20 games, 11 consecutive seasons. Thad Matta has really established a fortress in Columbus.
He's built a great program at Ohio State. And, you know, the funny thing about it is there are people, and it's a vocal, but it's a very small minority of Ohio State fans who think he should do more. Well, I mean, come on.
Well, he can do more, but you need for your upperclassmen to perform. And he's been somewhat disappointed as...
They have just said that Trey McDonald, who wears number 55, was not in the scorebook. Well, Trey McDonald has played all season long. And why he was not in the scorebook, I don't know. But regardless, he wasn't, and that is a technical foul.
That is an administrative technical foul. Now, the thing you have to understand is it doesn't count against any player. It doesn't count against the team. But it's still a technical foul.
He was listed as number 50. They put the wrong number in for Trey McDonald, a senior from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Now, how does that happen?
I have no idea.
Some equipment manager has dropped the ball.
Some equipment manager's going to have to walk back to Ohio.
If that point cost them.
I mean, I did the game against them in Michigan, in Ann Arbor. Who's worn the same number for? I mean, that's interesting. I don't know. Everybody has jitters, maybe even the managers.
And we have Trey McDonald at 55 as well. Yeah. So,
but it would be really interesting to know who fills out the scorebook for Ohio
State. We're going to find that out. And I'm going to put Rachel Nichols. That's a good story. Who is the person?
Well, there's nobody going to admit it now.
No. But you saw what happened.
I'll tell you what, Kevin, when I coached high school basketball, I had it all covered. You know who filled out the scorebook for me?
Who?
My dad.
Yeah.
And he would never make a mistake.
You can always trust Dad, can't you?
Absolutely.
All right, Texas has just lost the Big 12 0 for 3 in this round of 2. This is amazing. In the round of 64. Unbelievable. Supposedly the strongest conference. The numbers would say that with a well-defended pass and then shot. Justin Tillman had it knocked away. McDonald was the one defending.
McDonald, another big body, serviceable, active down low here for Ohio State.
Not a lot of offense for McDonald, but that's not what he's out there to do. He's out there to screen and rebound and defend.
Russell so far has not shot, and he has turned it over once, and he's got the ball right now with 6 minutes gone. A little crossover on Johnson to the rack, and that is what he can do so well.
He reached at the end, and if you're Melvin Johnson, you've got to continue to play good defense against a talented freshman in D'Angelo Russell. Once you gambled and tried to go for the ball, Russell is too good and too crafty once he gets into the paint.
Well, he knocked the ball away from him. Russell reached out and got it. I mean, good heavens.
Shot clock is down to 11. Jonathan Williams. Graham, Johnson with the defense here from the freshman Russell. Shot clock at 3, and the 3 long. And picked up by Loving.
Great block out. Really good defense on the screens, Reg, and then a great block out.
See if Mark Loving can get something going here offensively for Ohio State.
Little head fake and a cross-court pass, maybe ill-advised, knocked out of bounds by VCU. Shot clock at 22. You know, Dan, we were wondering what number you wore when playing at Virginia with the wonderful recruit that you were out of the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area.
You have to use your verbs correctly, Kevin. Yeah. I wore a uniform when I was on the team at Virginia. The word play is, relatively a loose word.
83 or what?
No, it's 43.
Okay, 43. All right, good.
What's the significance of 43, Daniel?
It was just the number when we got new uniforms in high school when I was a sophomore. That was my number, so I just kept it.
Okay. It was 10 off the Rolling Rock number. Which, by the way, is Bruton Latrobe. Here is Russell with the triple.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
I know you wouldn't. That's why I brought it up. I want to educate you a little bit. Jaquan Lewis trying to sneak it inside to Mo Alley Cox, who's got the size of a tight end. Burgess, reverse. Cox knocked away by Russell. Another offensive rebound.
And Russell knocks it away again.
Back-to-back blocks here by the freshman D'Angelo Russell. Great defensive effort interior here for the Buckeyes.
And the Ohio State bench is irate. They claim that the ball never hit the rim and the shot clock reset.
Lewis, wide open three.
What did Shaka tell us yesterday about Jaquan Lewis? He's a better shooter than Breonte Weber. So offensively, we haven't missed a beat.
Scott and Trey McDonald will tip it up and in.
The Rams are not a great rebounding team, and that's one area, if you're Thad Matta, you can really capitalize on is offensive rebounding.
A spinner by Thompson.
A bad shot.
See the pace right now? This is all about VCU Rams. You don't want to get into a window washer game with VCU.
Graham. Good drive by Lewis into Mo Alley Cox. Knocked away inside by newly instated Cam Williams. He was a freshman for the Bucks with a 3-point VCU lead. They're the 7th seed. The Buckeyes are number 10. It's the round of 64 in the NCAA tournament on TNT. Greg, thank you very much. And here you take a look at the South, and the winner will take on UAB, who surprised number 3 seed Iowa State. The Cyclones falling in Louisville earlier today.
How about Larry Brown going against his former team in UCLA? He took that team to the Final Four, I believe, in 1980.
So here is Mo Alley Cox at the free throw line, a 60% free throw shooter. And it clocks off, as you see. He's got a ton of block shots. In fact, he's got twice as many as the next nearest player on the Rams. But it's not block shots that make VCU so potent. It's the steals, the havoc they cause on defense.
Yeah, they're not a team that's looking to block a lot of shots, and they don't necessarily need to steal the ball to be effective, Kevin. They can just speed you up.
Well, they had Scott in a grip right there. Finally break through. Here's Mark Loving on one side and back to Scott.
See, I always felt once you break the press, you attack the press.
Yes.
Ohio State is bringing it out, trying to run offense. And especially when VCU is so vulnerable in the back line, you got to continue to attack as opposed to running offense.
Bates Diop has come in for the Bucks. Loving trying to set a screen. Shot by Scott. Rebound pulled down nicely by Burgess. Lewis the other way. This is a long 2. Bodies colliding and picked up on the play by Cam Williams. They've got numbers on a 3-on-2. What a great rejection! Skying high, Burgess swats it away.
What an outstanding defensive effort here by Burgess. Cam Williams looked like he had an uncontested lay-in here on this breakaway. Burgess gathering his steps with the rejection.
Well, that is a great play by Jaquan Lewis to slow him down and give Burgess a chance to catch up. I don't think Burgess ever saw, I don't think the Ohio State guy ever saw Burgess coming. Williams was worried about Lewis.
Russell back in. Williams is back in the pivot for the Bucks. 10.5 to play in the half.
But this defense has totally disrupted anything offensively Ohio State is trying to do the last 2 possessions.
Loving's going to have to be more aggressive once they break this trap.
Loving 3. And Mo Alley-Cox grabs it over on True TV. Less than a minute. SMU, UCLA, 4-point game. Ohio State has missed 5 in a row.
Kevin, but they've been back on their heels for 5 in a row. They really haven't had a good look at the basket.
Lewis outside. Burgess. Scott. Russell torn away by Burgess. And ahead, Mo Alley-Cox.
Burgess is putting his fingerprints early on in this first half today with his defensive identity. Beautiful move to take the ball away from D'Angelo Russell.
This is the biggest lead for the Rams, and a throwaway right there for the Bucks.
Havoc. Look at the steal here. Look at the quick hands here. Once again, it's Jaquan Lewis slowing down Russell to allow Burgess to come up with the steal.
And then Mo Alley-Cox, nice dunk.
Nationally, VCU, number 3 in the country in steals. They were number 1 in Division I for a couple years. 3 straight years they've had this kind of lofty ranking. Turnovers, 5 for the Buckeyes, 2 for the Rams.
A lot of that is because of Deontay Weber when they were number 1. The numbers are down a little bit, but the activity has remained the same.
Deontay Weber was the A-10 Defensive Player of the Year, out with an ACL and MCL and torn meniscus.
But there's tremendous energy out here on both ends of the court for VCU.
Yes, absolutely.
Laurier back in. Johnson on top. Shot clock at 2. On the move. Foul. Did Williams get him? I think Williams may have gotten him. Russell was in there defending 2. Russell picks it up. This summer, The Last Ship returns for another blockbuster season. New episodes premiere this June on TNT.
Reggie, when the shot clock's running down like that and the ball's all the way out on the perimeter, isn't it incumbent upon you as a defender to keep your guy in front?
Absolutely. Why gamble?
Yeah, there's no reason. Just move your feet and stay in front. The whole breakdown, Ohio State was great for 30 seconds of that defensive possession, and then they broke down, and the VCU was able to get the ball in the lane and draw the foul.
Alvin Johnson from St. Benedict's Prep in the Bronx.
If you're Shaka Smart, nice start in this first half. You've already turned over Ohio State 5 times in this first half. Attack.
Tate is in and takes it right into Alley-Cox, who gets the rebound.
See, I don't mind that shot, though. I mean, that was a 2-on-1 with a tough shot by Tate, but you got to continue to attack that back line.
8.5 in the half. Virginia Commonwealth, it's 37% from the floor. Buckeyes at 37%. Trayvon Graham. Williams is there. Nice defense by the big man out of Birmingham, Michigan. Scott, long 2. And picked up by Laurier and thrown right to Scott.
The pace of this game is definitely the pace that VCU wants to play.
Ohio State is scoreless the last 10 possessions.
I say that to D'Angelo Russell. I think it's almost time for him to kind of assert himself offensively here for Ohio State.
Shannon, Scott, Russell on cue, Reg, but he can't get it to go in. Russell is 1 of 4. Laurier 3 and fouled on the play by Shannon Scott.
Another symptom of Ohio State going a little faster than they want to go, both on offense and on defense. Shannon Scott picks up a very tough foul right here. He's trying to hustle, but you got to be under control. VCU with the lead.
Reggie, Thank you, Greg. There were a lot of people that said UCLA should not be in this tournament. People at our own network, and look at they've taken care of Larry Brown and the Mustangs.
And I will say this, Dan Bonner was all over this today. He said this was UCLA's to win. They can go one of two ways, with all the naysayers saying UCLA shouldn't be in the tournament.
Reggie, I didn't hear anybody say, well, that's a good pick for UCLA to be in the tournament. They were the one team that everybody said they should not be in there. And now they've got an opportunity to play to go for the Sweet 16.
At the free throw line, Terry Larrier. He went to the Phelps School in the Bronx, highly recruited, as we talked about before. And he's just putting the finishing touches on a 7-0 VCU run.
And it's a run that has been keyed by VCU's defense. And Kevin, it has not only been the steals, it has been the fact that they've been able to speed up Ohio State. The Buckeyes playing at a pace with which they seem to be very uncomfortable.
Dan, you're quoted in their media outlet by saying that they make teams play the way they don't want to play.
Well, they must have had a very poor selection of people to use.
Well, I told him that afterwards. You're right. Here comes Russell. And knocked away and almost saved right there. We've mentioned the name Briante Weber a couple times, the two-time A-10 Defensive Player of the Year. When he went down with the blown knee, they said, they told us this yesterday, they had to kind of reboot, restart the season and play a different way.
And he was absolutely the head of the snake for this team because of his quick hands and his length. Again, I believe only 11 steals away from the all-time lead, and it was a blow. Understanding that Shaka Smart had to regroup with Jake Quan Lewis as his point guard.
How about that rebound on his backside by Melvin Johnson?
That's what you call a block out.
That's what you call effort.
That's what you call playing by the seat of your pants.
And Ohio State is in a little bit of a danger zone right here. VCU has seized control of this game, and unless Ohio State can do something quickly to turn it around, they're in danger of being blown out.
Ohio State scoreless the last 12 possessions. Here comes Williams, contorting with a shot that caps a 9-0 run off the bench, and he finds two with a lot of defense in his face.
Looked like Williams was trying to find someone to pass the basketball to, saw a sliver of daylight, and was able to knock down the shot.
It's their biggest lead right now, and Ohio State, one of the best shooting teams in college basketball, but boy, they are struggling from the field. And moments ago, our Rachel Nichols caught up with Briante Weber, the great defensive player.
Here with Briante Weber, who has been such an inspiration, even with your injury, to this VCU team. It's not every team that can lose one of its best players and keep going to be a threat during the tournament, and you get to play a role in that. What is your role now that you're here on the bench?
Spirit leader. I'm nothing but a spirit leader. I'm a cheerleader, a fan. I'm just excited for the guys just to be in this moment right here, and all I can do is just give a little bit of my coachability and then just help them out throughout the way.
Coach said that he misses you most as a leader on the floor. He still says you are a better point guard than you are a cheerleader. What advice do you try to give to your replacement out here?
As I watch the game, I analyze just as a coach would, and I try to tell them what they're doing wrong and what they can improve on and how they can get their team better shots. And that's all I can do for everybody else is just be a coach, another coach.
Thanks so much.
No problem.
Rachel Nichols moments ago. Sam Thompson just picked up his first personal foul. Buckeyes scoreless their last 13 possessions. They have really hit a cold spell as they send freshman Jonathan Williams to the bench.
Well, whatever Briante Weber's telling him over there, it's working.
Yes. Feeding off his good mojo, man. He's a guy that has not lost any spirit. He led college basketball individually in steals for a couple years. Terrific player.
Ohio State in a zone defense.
Oh, Williams just took it away on the drive by Lewis. Second block by him. The big dance is better when you're open to try. Show us you're open to try and go to CokeZero.com.
Well, if you're Thad Matta and Ohio State, obviously this Havoc defense and style has kind of frustrated you a bit, but you got to find a way to settle your nerves down a little bit and try to get some easy ones at the basket.
William couldn't get it. Here come the Bucks once again. Led by the top scorer in the conference, Russell. Now here comes Tate. With Mo Alley-Cox supplying defense. I mean, in all ways. And then a great shot by Tate puts it through. Allie Cox picks up number 1.
I am not so certain that that first shot by Jayshawn Tate was particularly a good one. I think it was very tough when he was fortunate to get it back. Now, once he has it inside and has Mo Allie Cox on his back, then that's a play that Jayshawn Tate makes very effectively. That's been the problem for Ohio State. I think their shot selection has not been very good at all.
Tate. First points in the last 6-17 for this Ohio State team.
How about Ohio State now in the 2-3 zone?
You like it?
This is a team that primarily plays man-to-man, but because of the style of VCU, I think Thad Matta's trying to change it up, trying to change up the pace a little bit.
Elvin Johnson with the runner, but there's a lot of size inside from the Bucks, and here comes Scott on the side. Russell free! He knocks it in, and now he's got 5.
How about that? That's 6 quick points between Tate and Russell, as Shaka Smart's going to call a quick timeout here for the VCU Rams. How about in transition? You want your best players with their guns locked and loaded. D'Angelo Russell with the long 3.
Your favorite teams before the rest of your friends do. Download the Team Stream app from Bleacher Report to get all your team's news first.
Well, let's see if Thad Matta here apply pressure up front. Will they fall back into that 2-3 zone? The last 2 possessions offensively for VCU. So pretty good defensively for Ohio State.
10-second violation.
Well, what do they always say? A team that presses does not like to be pressed.
No.
Well, and the reason I think, Reggie, they went to the zone, they were having such a hard time handling the dribble penetration. And you go to a zone, you're not necessarily trying to, you're not worried about 3-point shooting. What you want to do is get a team that's moving very well to stand, and that's what happened.
Scott, long 3. And reeled in inside by Travion Graham.
See, I don't like that shot. Shannon Scott is an under 30% 3-point shooter, and that's what happens.
6-point turnaround.
Jaquan Lewis, he became a starter when the guy we just talked to, Deontay Weber, was injured in late January. His second 3. McDonald a screen. Scott with the mismatch on Allie Cox. Russell, triple, book it.
Now see, that's the guy you want shooting threes. Shannon Scott can get that 3-pointer that he took before early in the shot clock. He can get that anytime. You got to move the ball a little bit and find Russell. Russell's really got to get rolling, and it seems like he started.
And that's a turnover.
A lot of contact there on Larrier. No call by the official.
You can't call it. It's right in front of the Ohio State bench.
Still a 7-point game. At one time, VCU led by 12. The talented freshman from outside, Russell, right there. Women's tournament on NCAA.com. Kevin Harlan, Hall of Famer Reggie Miller, Dan Bonner in his 30th consecutive year covering the tournament, and the award-winning Rachel Nichols. Welcome to Portland. It's the Buckeyes and the Rams. Ohio State and VCU. 7-point game.
How about this back-to-back baskets by D'Angelo Russell? Let's see if Thad Matta may have drew something up for the
great pass.
And I guess he did.
That was a beauty.
8 quick points here for Russell.
3, missed it all. Graham throws up air. It's a 10-3 run by Ohio State.
Where's the communication here, though, defensively for VCU? I mean, there's no way that Russell should get this wide open. Nice pass here.
But number 4, Justin Tillman, sort of can't decide who he's guarding, and as a result, he just stands there in no man's land, and that allows Russell to get wide open.
Jared Guest has just checked in for VCU. Williams is back off the bench. Johnson covering on top. Here is Williams now as he watches Shannon Scott. McDonald, little fake, and the drive into the newly instated Guest and a foul. They'll go to the line. Coming up on the AT&T at the half. Scores and highlights and the latest NCAA tournament news. All coming up on AT&T at the half.
Well, D'Angelo Russell, I think the first 7-8 minutes got off to that slow start. And just over a span of a minute and a half, 8 quick points here to lead Ohio State in scoring in this first half.
55% free throw shooter Trey McDonald, who is wearing number 55. And if you're joining us late, they had his number registered in the official book as number 50. That was a technical foul, an administrative error against the Buckeyes.
And it cost the Buckeyes a point.
That's all. But we'll see what happens if it comes into play. It's outside by Williams.
Oh, nice block shot there by McDonald.
Johnson over McDonald. And that is a tough shot that had to have a lot of arc on it. The other way for Tate, thrown away by the Bucks.
Again, this is that risk reward you're talking about. A very difficult pass by D'Angelo Russell.
And you're absolutely right, Reggie. When you're playing a team like VCU, you don't want to be afraid of running up and down, but you have to make good decisions. And if your guy's open, throw him the ball. But if you're going to have to squeeze it in there, I just think that's too big a risk.
VCU is plus 8 rebounds on a taller Ohio State team. And they have scored 6 points more beyond the arc.
And they're not a great three-point shooting
no,
team.
They're not.
When Shaka Smart told us yesterday their three-point shooting was going to be a big key.
Their two weaknesses have been their strengths here against the bigger Ohio State.
Larrier and claimed inside by senior Sam Thompson. Into Amir Williams. He tried to slam it that time.
Thank
you. Second foul goes on Jared Guest.
Thank you, big fella. Not only was it a great pass, but I think the mindset Amir Williams has here, every time he catches it in the paint, his first order of business is to say, I should try to tear the rim down.
You know, in transition, that's a really difficult play for a big guy because he had to catch the ball and get himself on balance. He didn't dribble. Great job maintaining his pivot foot. Now he's got to convert at the line. And one of the things I see VCU doing defensively is they're really helping out hard on screens that are set by Williams and McDonald because they're not really worried about their ability to hurt them inside. And so I think Williams and McDonald are going to get opportunities, and I think it's going to key for Ohio State that they convert them.
Ohio State has missed 3 of their last 4 free throws here.
I think the key to being a good free throw shooting team is to get your good free throw shooters to the line.
2 of 7 in this first half.
2 to play in the first half. Lewis, long reach, knocked away by Russell. Johnson staying on him. Graham trying to defend. Williams inside with a big-time flush. And Amir has got 5.
The zone defense by Ohio State has slowed down the VCU offense, and Ohio State taking advantage with Williams on the inside.
Graham and Johnson.
Scott has had some absolute beautiful passes here in this first half already with 6 assists.
He leads the Buckeyes in assists. We do all talking about Russell, but Shannon Scott leads him in assists.
He leads the entire Big Ten in assists, and he's 16th in D1. Johnson outside, long 3 with the clock winding down. The rebound by Tate. And here comes Ohio State.
With that, Mata, the way your team has shot the basketball, being out-rebounded, and to only be down by 4 points. That almost was an offensive foul on Jayshawn Tate.
But this is what we're talking about. You drive the ball to the basket. You see Mo Alley Cox come to try to help. And there's Amir Williams. They're leaving him alone. Mo Alley Cox comes to help. And Williams is there. And this time he dunks it and gets the 2 points.
You have the size advantage. Even though you're going against a wide body and Mo Alley Cox, Amir Williams and Trey McDonald, they should be owning the paint in this game.
That was Greg Paulus, the assistant for Thad Matta. Talking there moments ago with Shannon Scott. Paulus, of course, the longtime point guard for Mike Krzyzewski at Duke, and then played next year college eligibility as a quarterback at Syracuse. They save it right there with a good rebound by the Buckeyes. They tap it free under a minute to go.
They've done a great job coming back in this game.
14-5 run.
Well, 11 of 26 from the field, 3 of 9 from the free throw line, and you're only down 1 possession.
To come to within 1, he got it on the runner. Russell puts it through.
Reggie, how did he make that shot?
He's good. I mean, it's simple.
He's got 12.
He's got talent. He's good, Dan.
And look at the run by the Buckeyes in a one-point game. As they're lunging in right there, and foul goes on Sam Thompson, who picks up his second for Ohio State.
Boy, and that's a tough second foul right there on Thompson. I mean, there's 26 seconds left in the half. You don't want one of your star guys to pick up his second foul coming over somebody's back at half court.
Buckeyes had missed 11 consecutive shots since 6 of 7.
Yeah, but the turnaround, Kevin, is when they went to that zone. VCU, which was flowing so well on the offensive end, that zone has made them stand around. Shaka Smart's guys have not attacked effectively inside.
They've shot 44%, 33 from 3, 33 from the free throw line, out-rebounded by 7, and they're only down 1.
Obviously going to hold for the last one.
Williams has the ball. Graham getting in position with the screen. The weaving, slithering Williams inside and pushed back up and off by Graham. Picked up by the Bucks. Russell, good if it goes. And that takes us to halftime with the Buckeyes furiously fighting back from a 12-point deficit to end the first half on a 16-5 run over the last 6.5 minutes.
Critical that Ohio State made a run like that. Their switch to the zone defense, they started finding their inside guys.
To Rachel Nichols with Coach Shaka Smart.
Well, Shaka, they came out on a ball of fire. Seemed like they took your quote, kill or be killed, pretty seriously. But then Ohio State made such a big run there. What do you account that for?
Well, I thought the more aggressive team was the better team in the first part of the first half and in the second part of the half. So we got to get back to being the aggressors.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, back to you, Kevin.
That's the end of the first half with the Rams on top by 1. We'll send you to AT&T at the half after these messages as you're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Got a one-point game and VCU is on top. Let's go to Rachel Nichols.
Coach, your team went on a killer run at the end of that first half, 16-5. What turned things around for you?
Well, we started finishing. We went through that drought where we couldn't make a shot. Our problem right now, 3 for 9 from the free throw line. But, it's going to be a heck of a second half. And as we told our guys, we got to keep the intensity from the first half going.
D'Angelo Russell is powering your team. He is a freshman. This is his first NCAA tournament game. How do you feel he's going to do as the pressure squeezes in?
Well, if he'll hold his follow-through, he's going to score a lot of points in the second half. But, no, he's playing great. And, that's what we got to have from him.
All right, thanks so much, Coach. Back to you guys.
Good stuff, Rachel. Thank you very much. Let's get second half thoughts here. Dan, we'll start with you.
Well, I think the key to that first half was D'Angelo Russell just got tired of being behind, and he really put everything together, didn't you, Reg?
Well, I like what Shaka Smart told Rachel going to the half. They played great the first 10 minutes. I think their defense let them down in the second. Where they're going to find scoring, they're only shooting 29% from the field themselves.
I know both you guys like Russell. Let's take a look at what he did in the first half. He was terrific toward the end.
Well, for about the first 10 minutes, he really didn't look like he was out there, but he blocked a couple of shots. He knocked down a couple of threes. He scored a layup going to the basket. He just sort of orchestrated everything out there.
Well, my question going forward is, who's going to join him, though, Dan? Mark Loving, second in scoring on this team, 0 for 1 in that first half. Got the stats here, points in the paint. Not surprising, 16-10 advantage for the bigger and more physical Ohio State.
And again, VCU's defensive philosophy seemed to be when they were guarding screen and rolls to leave the Ohio State big man, whether it be McDonald or Williams, and Williams actually made him pay for that a couple of times.
One thing which is interesting about Ohio State, they turn the ball over the same or less than their opponent 28 times. They're number 4 in the country in fewest turnovers. And we know all the turnovers forced by VCU. Let's see which trend prevails. Second half, one-point game. Russell aims and fouled on the play. He'll go to the line for 3.
How about the pump fake and freeze move to allow the defender Brooks to go right by Russell. And he made up the difference to get the foul call. Here's the pump fake. There goes Brooks. Reaches out the hand. I'm surprised the officials called that because the official was on the other side of Russell.
But, I mean, the pump fake, you go flying by. Okay, you go flying by, land and come back. Don't reach out. I mean, that was going to be a very tough shot. But you heard Thad Matta tell Rachel at halftime that he thought the biggest problem was what they were doing from the free throw line, and so only 1 out of 2 here for Russell.
Look at that look by Shaka Smart. He's a little bewildered as uncharacteristic. D'Angelo Russell misses 2 or 3 free throws.
4 for 12 from the line are the Buckeyes.
He's a 76% free throw shooter. Larrier, Moali Cox, and a long shot will go. That is a 3, and Brooks cans it, the sophomore from Lake Wales, Florida.
That's the way you attack the zone. You get inside, force the zone to collapse, and find a three-point shooter.
And that's the way the Rams started this first half. Ball movement. They got away from it that second 10 minutes of that first half.
Tate with a screen. Russell now doubled. Outside it goes. Scott catches. And picked up by Brooks, who missed some of that first half in foul trouble. They'll come the other way. Jaquan Lewis. Brooks by Tate. Inside. Moali Cox. Dropping the sledgehammer.
Unselfish play there by Doug Brooks. It was Moali Cox who threw the pass to Brooks for the 3, and Brooks comes back and returns the favor to find Moali Cox for the big dunk.
Good throw. Thompson. Williams fouled. Inside, and Allie Cox will pick up the foul. Number 3.
One of the things that VCU had a problem doing was getting inside that zone in the first half. No problems in the second half. One time they draw the defense and get a 3. That time they find Moali Cox open right on the post.
Buckeyes will have Williams at the line in the Big Ten tournament. 23-10, Ohio State beat Minnesota, then lost to Michigan State. 7 consecutive seasons in this tournament. VCU Reg has been here 5 consecutive years.
I think in this second half, I think the philosophy for Shaka Smart and the VCU Rams, I think it's going to be simple. Let anyone else in red beat you other than D'Angelo Russell. And you saw the last 5 minutes, he put on a shooting show there, 13 points here in this game, but someone else for Ohio State is going to have to beat me.
Melvin Johnson, Jared Guest check in for the Rams. Larrier. Guest. Off the bench, his first 2. Does have some size inside. The drive by Scott. He was flying.
VCU really getting the ball inside effectively. Nice drive by Larrier. Guest fumbled the ball, but still has a lot of time. And then Shannon Scott, he's great driving to the basket, Reggie. I wish he'd put that three-point shot back in his pocket. If you're an Ohio State fan, he shoots only 29% from out there. He needs to be attacking the goal.
Dad, of course, Charlie Scott, who was talked about a lot with the passing of Dean Smith, first African-American player that Smith brought to North Carolina. To play, and play he did.
And here's Ohio State back in that zone. We talked about all the penetration here at the start of this second half for VCU.
So you can't just pass the ball around the zone. The ball's got to go inside, whether it's a dribble or the pass.
And I like having Graham in the middle there because he can score and facilitate once he gets the ball in the middle.
Shot clock down to 5. Johnson on the side. Williams, 3. And corralled by Russell. He's got his second rebound. Ahead it goes. Scott will slash and feed. Russell, he'll take a 3 for the lead. Got it!
This young man is so smooth with the basketball. I'm not quite sure the ball was actually in his hand yet before he released it.
That's a Johnson miss. And picked up by Tate. Buckeyes have gained some swagger. Look at the drive by Scott! Right through the defense, and timeout VCU. They have found another gear. Ohio State by 3 on TNT.
Ohio State with their first lead since it was 2-0, and it's all been about D'Angelo Russell here knocking down his third 3 of the day. And how about Scott? Just splits the double team with the layup. Now you get the bench engaged, your fans are engaged, and finally D'Angelo Russell imploring the fans to stand up. This is the Ohio State Buckeyes that people have been wanting to come see. Get out in transition, led by the super freshman D'Angelo Russell.
An 8-0 run in the last minute and 6 seconds, Reggie, and you're right, Russell is leading the way.
We've had a 15-point turnaround in this game. VCU led by 12. Williams tries to find a room. The baseline, and Williams is there. And a turnover for VCU.
If you're Shaka Smart, you did not want that coming out of that timeout. Williams had a wide open 3-point shot in that corner.
Can't pass that one up.
No.
Winner this one will take on Arizona. Good pocket pass. It went inside to Williams. It came off the fingertips, exploding off the fingertips of Shannon Scott.
All right, now, whatever the game plan was, they better start guarding Williams because he's beginning to hurt.
They go inside with a hard-earned move by Travion Graham. And a foul called right there, and the Buckeyes trying to defend.
Well, this is just your standard. Here's Williams right here. And watch as he sets this screen. Look what happens. He's just going to go right to the basket. Nobody guarding him. They're all trying very hard to go out and cover on the perimeter. They think, okay, Williams isn't going to hurt us, but he has started to hurt them.
Travion Graham had his back to the play. I mean, you got a ball you man on the defensive end. And Dan, I think Thad Mata probably was playing a little bit of our audio at halftime talking about Amir Williams and finishing in the paint. I mean, the way you were getting on from one big man to another, talking about dunking the basketball, like Amir Williams is starting to take it personal.
Graham at the line, the second all-time leading scorer at VCU, in back of Eric Maynor with a look at Thad Mata.
I don't think that you should pay any attention to somebody who played in an era when the dunk was illegal if he's talking about dunking the ball. But I think it's a good idea for him to be as aggressive as he has been, particularly here early in the second half.
Here comes Russell. Scott, 4 minutes gone in the second half. Williams stated Jordan Burgess is on the ball handler, Thompson. Now it's Russell. The defense on him is Doug Brooks. Screened by Williams. The ball is up high. Shot clock at 8. On the move, Thompson. Collapsing into the D, and that is a foul. That's going to go on Travion Graham. Don't make it Thompson. Thompson gets called for the foul. That is the third on the Buckeye. Make the most shots. Who has more points in the second half? If your bracket's already busted, play the Capital One NCAA Tournament Run game. It's on NCAA.com and the March Madness live app. Buckeyes will bring in Mark Loving. Let's take a look at some of the foul issues for the two teams. Johnson and Brooks, along with Guest and Graham, out there for the Rams. And inbounding Jordan Burgess. That is the VCU 5. Oh, what a great lunge right there by Russell, who keeps it for Ohio State. Get the steal.
My goodness, how long are those arms? How did he come up with that?
Inspector Gadget.
Plastic man.
Scott. Williams a screen. Scott will wheel. He'll find Loving. It was. But the defense right there for the Rams. Scott across the lane. Russell off balance. Oh, he nails the shot from outside. He is 4 of 6 on 3, and he's got the stroke this afternoon.
And he's fanning himself on the way down. I mean, that is ultra white hot there for D'Angelo Russell.
I mean, the ball wasn't really thrown to him very well, and he sort of was rushed and under pressure, and it still went right in.
He's got Ohio State up now by 6. He's got 19 for the game. Good looking shot outside by Doug Brooks. That's how he responds. Reg, it's his second consecutive 3.
Well, anything you can do, I can do better, Mr. Russell. Nice answer there by Doug Brooks.
Virginia Commonwealth is plus 6 points beyond the arc. They're plus 7 rebounds. And it's a 3-point game. An open lane.
You'd have told me that VCU would be out-rebounding Ohio State. I would have looked at you crazy. Here's the steal by plastic man D'Angelo Russell.
Well, he just tips the ball and then out-hustles Guest to go get it. I'm amazed that ball stayed in bounds. And then again, he's not really very well on balance. and knocked it down.
Oh, I like it. Fan yourself down, young man.
No. He doesn't want to cool himself off.
He's white hot out here.
The guys from VCU should be fanning him, not him.
Russell has played all but 50 seconds in this game. Trey McDonald is now checked in for the Bucks. Loving and Tate, Russell and Scott, the Ohio State 5. With the ball now, Jaquan Lewis to Brooks. Lewis will shimmy. Brooks. Brooks the three. Got it! Big hit. Third in a row. Doug Brooks.
Great answer here by Doug Brooks in this VCU Rams here. Not only is he having to guard D'Angelo Russell at one end, but providing offense at the other.
Elmo Alicott is over there trying to defend. VCU foul.
And here's the problem when you play a zone and you're not comfortable in that zone, because Ohio State mainly is a man-to-man team. You forget where shooters are on the floor.
Was that foul on Cox?
It was, and he's got 4.
All right, well, that really hurts VCU's inside game. That's one of the reasons why it has sputtered a little bit.
But again, they're a +8 in rebounding. Obviously, Morley Cox has 7 of those.
Russell is screen. Tate to Scott. Nice defense there by Burgess. Tate. Oh, he was coming in hot and high. And if you're going to go in high, you got to come in hot. It's a 2-point Buckeye win. Lead right now, 47-45. They're on top. We've had 2 ties and 2 lead changes.
That's another instance. They're concentrating so much on Russell down on the inside. Graham left his man to help out, and Tate made him pay.
Lewis. Under 13 to go. And a little bump by Scott on the perimeter. And picks it up. Second foul on him.
The ball is passed, and there's nobody anywhere around. And Travion Graham, all he does is swat at the thing. He was in the lane trying to help out, and that is a really good pass. And Tate, who has struggled at times in this particular game, no struggle right there.
Cam Williams is checked in, another freshman for Ohio State.
I'm going to tell you this, guys, I am utterly confused now, because after watching that first game and Stanley Johnson for Arizona, I'm saying, wait a minute. No question this kid is the best freshman in the land. And here comes D'Angelo Russell, and he is putting on an absolute show here for Ohio State.
See, VCU's got nobody on the inside of that zone.
Another 3.
And you don't need one.
And Brooks has become a flamethrower. He has had the last 12 VCU points, knocking in his last 3 triples.
He's perfect from the field. 5 of 5, 4 of 4 from downtown.
I should say it. He's had 4 straight threes. Russell, and they're tailing him with 2 defenders at all times. In the corner, Williams missing the 3.
We better find Brooks in transition.
Rams by 1. Brooks has been terrific for VCU. The cutting Graham. It goes outside, and this is a 3 which will not drop for Burgess. But the Rams are on top because of 4 consecutive 3-point makes by Doug Brooks. He's a sophomore, and he is right on cue for VCU. We're gone to the round of 32, and that's the first time since 1995. I think UCLA won the tournament in 95, didn't they, Rich?
I believe they
Yes,
did.
UCLA, yep. But we've had a couple of threes leave. The 14's moving on. They go inside. A pass off an inbound and saved. Graham has it. He'll catch his breath. And 11.5 to go. Brooks with it. He has made 4 threes in the last 7 minutes for the Rams.
Travion Graham really has struggled. Remember, he had back-to-back threes to start this game. He's gone 0 of 6 since.
Ohio State back to the man-to-man.
They put Thompson up on him that time. The shot clock is down to 7. Brooks. Johnson. Defended by Scott. Shot clock at 2. And they're all grabbing onto it. It should be VCU's ball. It is.
Third opportunity for VCU. I thought Shannon Scott did a really nice job that time, not fouling, forcing Johnson into a very tough shot, but then you got to get the rebound.
What is Mark Loving doing defensively? I mean, he does not even look like his head is in this ball game here. And look at the downsides that Thad Matta has gone here. There's no Amir Williams and no Trey McDonald on the floor here. A very small lineup on the floor.
Well, he was forced to do that because of the small lineup that VCU has out on the floor. When Mo Alley Cox got his fourth foul, they elected to go very small. And Brooks shot him right out of that zone that was so effective for him.
Tate is on Lewis.
Well, when you give a team 3 and 4 opportunities at the basket, you're going to get burned.
March Madness continues tonight with 8 more second-round games across CBS, TBS, TNT, and through TV. You decide the games you want to watch, and these are some of the featured matchups. Harvard, North Carolina. But some of these upsets we've seen already. 3 Big 12 teams falling early. UCLA, a team everybody complained about being in, except if you were in Westwood, winning, albeit a little bit controversially.
Being up big, and then SMU going on a 21-5 run to take the lead. Finding ways to hold on with that controversial goaltending call.
VCU's on an 11-2 run right here in the last 4.5 minutes. The lead is 3. They've led by 12. The Buckeyes have been up by 6. Tate with not a lot of breathing space inside. They tried to tap it, picked up by Johnson. And here come the Rams the other way. And the accelerating Lewis.
Mark Loving should have came down with that basketball, gathered himself, and gone straight back up. You're going to need Mark Loving as this game goes on this last 10 minutes. Definitely more energy from Loving.
10 to play. Lewis darting and finding the open shot. A good one it was. Shaquan Lewis, who is a sophomore from Dixon, Tennessee. He's got 10.
And when VCU scores, that allows them to set this pressure, and it was the pressure that caused Ohio State to speed up in the first half.
Russell in stride. Loving will glide. Get it. Send him to the stripe.
Well, Reggie, you were talking about Loving, and so he answered the bell right there. But what a great pass by D'Angelo Russell. You break the press. This is what you've been talking about the entire game. You make your opponent pay for pressing, and Loving takes the ball right at the defense and is able to get the score.
How about switching to the left hand on the finish?
Mark Loving is the 3rd leading scorer on this team.
In the man-to-man defense, Ohio State has really had some problems defending the VCU quickness.
Johnson with a corkscrew move inside on Loving.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's a tough shot, but Johnson was able to use his quickness to get to the basket against Loving.
Well, this is a 6'5" and under game right now. And who's going to win with those type of athletes? The best player on the floor is that man right there, D'Angelo Russell.
Good looking rebound. Tate going up. The rebound, the 2. He's got 10, and it's a 2-point game and under 9 to go.
That's a man's rebound right there by Jayshawn Tate.
He is second among freshmen 6'4" and under in rebounding in the country.
This is his kind of ball game.
It is.
And one of the interesting things with these lineups, these guys can switch every screen, because there are no mismatches created when you screen.
Here comes a burst in the drive right here by Lewis, and 4 on the shot clock and an Ohio State foul. That's going to go on Tate, and he picks up number 3. Watch live games on your Amazon Fire HD, your Android device, iPhone, iPad, or computer with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now at NCAA.com YouTube.com/March Madness or download the app today. 2 of 2 from the line for Jaquan Lewis at the stripe.
One thing that Shaka Smart does have going for him, he plays more bodies. So he's going to keep fresher players on the floor, hopefully to try to wear down Ohio State.
They bring Williams back in. They give Lewis a breather. Jonathan Williams has kept the tempo up. Full court pressure here by the Rams.
Larrier's back in. Another fresh body here for VCU.
And this is a great matchup, Brooks against Russell.
They've been going at it all day.
Ohio State is almost shooting 50% from the field at 49 right now. 38% shooting for VCU. Tate, while in flight, was knocked off course. Lands hard, but got the ball to go in. He's got 12.
I think Tate is their best low post scorer, and that's including McDonald and Amir Williams.
That's another 3 launched by Brooks. And out of bounds, Baricha Burgess could not reel it in. And we will step aside. It's the 7 Rams against the 10th seed Buckeyes on TNT. See some important numbers with this 7 against 10. VCU against Ohio State. VCU the +10 in rebounding will catch some people by surprise. And you see the freshman Russell, the sophomore Brooks are at the very tip of the attacks for both teams in this game.
I love what Shaka told us yesterday. For his team to be successful and a chance to move on, they were going to have to make 3-point shots. You saw the graphic there, 8 of 20 from downtown. How about 4 of 5 of those coming from Brooks?
The winner will take on 2 seed Arizona Saturday here. So with the ball, Scott out there with Thompson and Russell. And Tate, they go, what a pass, inside. Russell caught it, but the beautiful feed came on top from the senior Sam Thompson.
Just does a great job moving without the basketball. Doug Brooks got picked off, nobody helped out.
We saw this in the first half as well. No communication, no talking for VCU.
Well, Thompson is setting the screen, and Russell is going to come right through there. And there's another screen, and so he's got 2 screens, and you're screening a guy who doesn't have the basketball, and sometimes that's a very difficult play to defend.
And if you're Travion Graham, why are you hugged up on your men? You should have 2 feet in the paint and then recover.
There's no question about that. Graham much too close to his own guy, and as a result, nobody's back helping. But remember, each of these teams are playing with no post guys. And with the exception of Jayshawn Tate, who, you know, can be a perimeter and a post, but VCU's got no post players in the game at the moment, so that defense on the inside a little bit shaky sometimes.
Loving picked up his 3rd foul. Larrier is out for the Rams. Burgess is back in the game with Melvin Johnson. Williams, here's Brooks defending the driving Russell. Scott is on top. We're approaching 7 to play. Russell will slash. The burst inside, the lost ball, and then he puts it up and in.
What I like about that play there is Thad Matta got him going to his strong hand, his left hand, even though he missed the initial shot. The right place at the right time for the putback.
They can't give him more than one opportunity.
Russell has 23.
See, with both teams out here, you could switch everything. Every ball screen, I would switch.
Williams crossover, works on Thompson. Foul. That's the 4th on Thompson. It takes strength, power, and skill to keep up with this family. Meet the Smiths. A new series premieres Friday, April 3rd at 9, 8 Central, only on TBS.
You've got to be kidding me. Kenny Smith now has a reality show.
Yes, he does.
And we are doing the promos during March Madness. Are you kidding me?
Williams
No,
at the
I
line.
love it. Happy 50th, Kenny.
That foul is a very big foul because it's going to force Thad Matta to make some decisions here. about who to substitute for Sam Thompson. Thompson is a key to playing this small lineup.
Keita Bates-Diop has come in, another freshman for Ohio State. With Tate, who's out on the floor. Russell, a freshman. Loving is a sophomore. And the veteran will have the ball, Shannon Scott.
Well, certainly the more aggressive team in terms of free throw has been the Rams. 14 of 19, 74% today.
Tate, foul.
Yeah, he kind of dislodged him.
He just bulldozed his way to a fourth foul.
Look at his left arm.
Well, and this is Travion Graham. The rule is you have to have your feet established facing the dribble, and after that you're allowed to move, and he moved all right because Tate made him move. So that's 4 fouls on him, and that changes the Ohio State lineup. Now you got to put Amir Williams in, and Reggie, so you've gone away from that smaller lineup. Let's see if VCU can take advantage and use their quickness.
Jacon Williams checks in. Make it Jacon Lewis will check in for Jonathan Williams, and Amir Williams has come back in for the Ohio State team.
And automatically, Ohio State goes back to the zone with Amir Williams back on the floor here for the Buckeyes.
I don't think they can defend this VCU lineup in a man-to-man. They have to play zone.
Loving on Lewis. Graham, Russell came out to defend. Brooks positions for the triple. Russell. The gallop and the drive, and he got it to go.
Looked like one of the officials was getting ready to call a block, and it was the officials underneath.
It sure was.
Who called a charge.
Oh.
Still moving. I mean, I don't know how he calls this a charge right here.
You have to be in position before the player leaves the floor. And so Thad Matta, he's questioning that, whether or not that actually occurred. But that's the way the game is called in college basketball. Almost every time that play will be called a charge.
So, Reg, you're right. He had two officials, same view,
right,
different thought process.
Looked like one was going to call a block and the one underneath called the charge.
5.5 to go.
Look, it's the hardest call in our game.
It is.
And you saw it looked like two officials had different views on it.
Brooks, Johnson with the pass with a little too much heat on it. And Wayward. Watch it one more time.
Let's
Again,
see
the defender has to have his feet on the floor facing the dribbler before the offensive player leaves his feet.
He's already in the air then. So what you just outlined, that should be a block, correct?
That looked really close to me.
Okay.
You know, but I will tell you, I hate that call.
So does Ohio State. Loving.
Nice save by Loving here.
Scott will crash inside, and that is a VCU foul. And it will go on Jordan Burgess.
This is a shooting foul here.
2
for Scott.
Yep.
See, there might be a foul out there in front, and now, you know.
Now, to me, that looked more like a charge.
Scott to inbound, and Williams gets free. Brooks, Russell to defend.
Oh, how about the nice defensive effort by Russell, not giving up on the play.
Brooks was more worried about Russell and maybe trying to draw a foul.
Russell has got a cut over his left eye or next to his left eye.
Oh, my.
And he is going to have that sewn up. It's a gusher.
Looked like he took an elbow trying to contest that block shot.
Well, I thought that Brooks tried to jump into him to draw the foul.
Look at the off arm here. Yep, the follow through.
Boy, he swept that arm up back there.
Yeah, this easily could have been an offensive foul here by Doug Brooks.
Well, I think it's, you know.
In fact, it should have been an offensive foul.
We're going to step aside. Timeout on the floor. 4:56 to go from Portland. From midcourt, watch the left elbow.
And the officials are not at the monitor looking at this. This easily could be a flagrant one with the elbow to Russell's face. I mean,
that's why you have an alternate official at the NCAA tournament to maybe look at plays like that. But
absolutely,
that
you have to look at this.
To be a clear elbow. I mean, that wasn't, I mean, he's trying to ward him off, and he hit him right in the face with his elbow.
And let me say this for Doug Brooks. It wasn't malicious on his end. He was trying to protect, go up with the lay-in and protect himself from Russell coming over. So I don't think he did it on purpose, but it is an elbow to the face of Russell, which in my book would at least constitute a flagrant one.
Well, now, the referees are looking at this, and the longer they take to look at it, the better for Ohio State, because they can get the bleeding stopped for Russell and get him back in the game. Because the blood rule is if you're bleeding, you have to go out of the game until the bleeding is stopped. And so we're taking an awful lot of time here, and that works to the advantage of Ohio State.
Again, here's the hold of it. It's the follow-through right to the face of D'Angelo Russell.
I think they could easily call this a flagrant one.
Absolutely.
Let's send it over to Rachel.
Well, guys, it looks like, in fact, they have gotten the bleeding stopped on D'Angelo Russell. The question now is how quick can they cover him up and get him back out there? I would like to say that as D'Angelo Russell is trying to stop a gusher on his forehead, holding a towel to his face, talking to the medical staff, he was also yelling at his teammates instructions to keep pressing and win this game without him if need be. But they are trying as hard as they can to get him back on the court.
So that's the rule, flagrant one, excessive contact. And this is what, I think this is what we're looking at here, excessive contact. That's, I think, the key. Now, it's not a severe, extreme. I don't think it meets the standard for a flagrant two, but
as well as
did seem
Brooks
to me
being
to be,
ejected. I don't think
right,
it's
no.
See, here's the thing. In regular speed, you don't even think the contact is there. It's when you obviously take it to super slow. Here's real time. See,
If you want it to close in a hurry, you put duct tape on it. That's, or electrical tape. Looks like that's what they've got.
Well, they have ruled it a flagrant one, and so Ohio State is going to get two shots and the ball.
This is huge.
Now, interestingly enough, the guy who got fouled, D'Angelo Russell, under normal circumstances would be the free throw shooter, but they have taken him out of the game. They've actually sent a substitute. Let's see if...
I think he's going to come in and shoot these free throws because they called a timeout. He wasn't taken off the floor. They called a timeout when the bleeding started.
Yeah, but if somebody reported in for him, even during the timeout, he can't go back in until some time runs off the clock. So that's the issue.
I think he's going to shoot these.
Okay.
Because he wasn't off. He wasn't off.
Nobody reported in for him then. Well, so that long delay really helps Ohio State.
Absolutely, Dan.
He is the second highest scoring freshman in Buckeye history, and back of Michael Redd. And he is one of two players in all of college basketball, along with Iona's A.J. English, to average 19, 5, and 5. Rich, what do you have?
They've put a Steri-Strip on it. They said he should be fine. They actually, when we saw them putting a substance around his eye before they put that bandage on, that was basically glue, so that when he sweats, the bandage doesn't come off and it doesn't start bleeding again. They're going to watch it, of course, after this game to make sure it doesn't swell up, but the medical staff tells me should have no effect on his vision going forward. He's good to go. All
right, Rach, thank you. All in all, about a 5-minute delay. We're under 5 to play in regulation. The 7th seed Rams, the 10th seed Buckeyes. Rams led of VCU by 12 in the first half. Here's a Russell short-range shot and picked up on the play by Doug Brooks, who at one time in the second half hit 4 consecutive threes.
We'll see if Shaka Smart here and the VCU Rams with this 2-3 zone by Ohio State try to get into the middle penetration or find some gaps down low.
Brooks. And again, the shot clock will be in single digits. Lewis finds a lot of red around him, and then right inside and wide open is the big man, Mo Ali Cox, who stuffs it hard and continues to watch the rim shake.
If I'm Thad Matta, season's on the line here, I got to go with my best lineup. I bring back Jay Sean Tate, in that smaller lineup so you can go man-to-man and switch everything.
Russell. And a goal shot you're going to see from Bates Diop. It is his first shot of the game.
And only his 17th three-pointer all season. He shoots 43%. What a big shot
The
by
guy
your
comes in the game
freshman.
to take that shot. That is a bold maneuver by that kid.
Grow up quickly, son. Welcome to the tournament.
Good screen by Allie Cox and the three by Johnson and the rebound by Amir Williams. And here come the Buckeyes approaching 3 to play.
Mana, I'd like to run some of this flex action that they've been running for D'Angelo Russell. He's been getting some wide open lay-ins and cuts to the basket.
Well, he's working hard for whatever he gets, Reggie. They are all over him defensively.
And that would be Doug Brooks, who is all over him. Brooks is going to sleep good tonight.
Hard shot. Williams got it. Allie Cox was there, and a foul going on the big man. That is number 5 on him. Allie Cox is gone with his 7 points, his single digits in rebounds, and his big-time presence physically inside. All sports. Download the CBS Sports app now. Allie Cox is gone.
Big free throws here for Amir Williams, 61% free throw shooter on the season. And tonight, Ohio State as a team, only 50% from the line.
He's 3 of 4.
You know, he has come under a lot of criticism, Amir Williams has, during his career at Ohio State for what some people perceive as a lack of energy, but he has really played well today.
Big.
8 lead changes, 4 ties. Buckeyes have led by as many as 6. VCU's lead at one time was 12 in the first half.
And these are parts of the game when Travion Graham, the VCU star, usually steps up and shines here, has struggled offensively. This is what star players do.
Melvin Johnson 3.
Johnson, of course, an outstanding three-point shooter. High percentage, high volume. That's the guy they want to get loose out on the perimeter.
Well, VCU 9 of 23 from downtown, 39% today.
Johnson, by the way, 1 of 7 shooting threes. So the season has been kind from distance, but today he has struggled. But it came at a good time right there. And a turnover goes right to the hands of Bates Diop. And the scramble, and Lewis has got it for the Rams.
Williams wasn't ready for the pass from D'Angelo Russell. Costly turnover possibly here for Ohio State. Unforced turnover.
Bates Diop was just surprised, and if you're out on the court, you can't be surprised somebody throws you the ball.
Johnson with the big-time 3! He's knocked down 2 triples in a row! And he has just given VCU a 2-point lead. The other way, Bates Diop into Williams. That ties it at 66.
Bates Diop was very fortunate. He did not pick up an offensive foul. Melvin Johnson back-to-back threes here, bringing VCU back.
VCU, after we just saw a dunk right there moments ago by Williams of the Buckeyes.
And Dan, you and I were talking in that break. Does VCU go early here? 1:15 left on the clock, 35 with full shot clock. To me, you got to get the best available shot. You got to be able to find a way to break down this Ohio State defense here.
Thompson is back in the game, so they've gone back to man-to-man.
As well as Tate.
Yeah, the point that you made is they can switch the screens.
Brooks a 3 and picked up inside by Russell under a minute to go.
He was badly off balance.
Well, it was a bad pass initially from Jaquan Lewis. But if you're Brooks, you can't take that shot. A lot of time left on that shot clock.
Bucks will take a timeout. Mata to talk over this possession. Tied at 66 on TNT. Buckeyes have a timeout. Rams have 3 of them.
And what Ohio State, obviously, D'Angelo Russell is going to handle the ball at some point here. And remember, he is such a great passer. You don't need him to take the shot. He can certainly create, but he has been the big offensive weapon today.
Well, smaller lineup for both teams on the floor. You've got to guard against second shot opportunities. And if you're VCU, get the possession, call a quick timeout here.
They're in a zone. VCU is playing 2-3 zone.
And they did this in the A-10 final, in that final possession, going to a zone.
Russell picked up by Brooks. Shot clock at 4. And the knifing move inside by Scott. Fought for and grabbed inside by Graham.
Now you hold it for the last shot.
I like this. Shaka Smart's going to go for it. Not going to call a timeout.
Hold on to your hats. Graham with the move inside. Overtime in Portland.
And I don't mind it. You know why? You put the ball in your best player's hands. Travion Graham has struggled
Great defense by the Buckeyes.
It is great defense. A very difficult shot here by Graham.
What a job by Sam Thompson. He's got 4 personal fouls. Tremendous effort.
What a first day of the NCAA tournament. To overtime here in Portland in this matchup of the 7th seed VCU Rams out of Richmond, Virginia, and the Big Ten 10th seeded Ohio State Buckeyes out of the Big Ten. The winner will take on, in a much anticipated game Saturday, 2nd seed Arizona. They had an easy time with the 15th seeded Tigers of Texas Southern just before this one. This is VCU's 4th NCAA tournament overtime game since 2007.
Now you got to start talking about foul trouble here. Jayshawn Tate with 4. Thompson, we saw the defensive effort against Graham to end regulation with 4. I love the no timeout by Shaka Smart, because if you call a timeout, Thad Matta is going to insert Amir Williams, a bigger presence in the middle.
And you were going to get the ball to Travion Graham anyway.
Graham's got it as he works into Tate and finds 2.
He says, where was that at the end of regulation?
He's got 10.
As a coach, sometimes you got to gamble. I love when a coach doesn't call timeout to allow the other team to come up with a defensive struggle and a defensive identity.
Thompson is off balance. Ball retrieved by Travion Graham.
And Thompson has had a very difficult game offensively. He's only scored 2 points. That was a very difficult shot.
I'll guess who's been over there on the bench for a while.
Graham
started here in overtime. Oh, you got to put that in.
Just grinding his way. Russell. Sam Thompson to the trailing Russell. Pretty play for the Bucks. We're tied at 68, and Russell has put in 26.
And that play was all Sam Thompson. As soon as he got the basketball, as soon as he penetrated into the lane, he drew 2 VCU Rams.
Timeout, VCU.
Oh, man, this is unbelievable. Look at all the white jerseys around Thompson. D'Angelo Russell with the finish in the lane. We tied, people.
Kevin, I thought that was a really big basket by Ohio State, because if you don't score there and VCU gets another one, then suddenly the momentum is really rolling in the wrong direction if you're the Buckeyes. And Russell does so many things. That last play, all he did was follow the play, and he was close enough to score the easy basket. Amir Williams back in the game for Ohio State.
But how about Shaka Smart? Deciding to go small now, so if Ohio State, either they're going to be in the 2-3 zone, who is Amir Williams going to go to guard? He's going to guard
Lewis with the crossover. Rebound by Tate. And here comes Ohio State. They've got Scott and Tate and Russell and Thompson and Amir Williams on the floor.
Amir Williams has the advantage down low. There's no one who can guard him. And if they're not going to throw him the basketball, get in position at the offensive end to get an extra possession for your team.
Yeah, get down there on the block.
Yeah, they can't keep you off the glass.
Russell into Brooks. And they blocked out well. Tate went down. No call. Oh, now we've got some shoving at the other end.
That's a double foul.
Yeah,
that means Tate's out of the game.
And Thad Matta is telling Jae'Sean Tate, you got to be smarter than that. It's a double foul. Tate already had 4 fouls.
Well, these guys, they just get tangled up.
This reminds me of the old Karl Malone, Dennis Rodman back in the Chicago, Utah days.
And now the question is, are we going to have a flagrant foul called against Tate? Is that an elbow to the face?
That's real close there, Dan.
Well, let's see what's going on.
Because absolutely you can make a case here. A little acting into it, too. I don't think they're going to get that, but they're certainly going to look. Because there is contact above the shoulder area, but it's a lot of acting on Travion Graham as well.
So what they've called is the double foul.
And to me, this certainly hurts Ohio State more. Obviously, you're losing Tate, who is their best defender on the wing.
But
that's really interesting.
Well, I will say this.
This is a huge call right here.
To me, this is a play on. Just blow the whistle and get both guys up and let them play on. Now you've got Tate out the game.
All right, so what they've done is they have just let the call they made stand. It's a double foul, so a foul on Graham. That's his 3rd foul, I believe. And Tate now fouls out of the game, so.
Well, now we get another Mark Loving sighting. He's been absent in this game.
Graham has 2 fouls on him.
2 fouls, okay.
Loving 3 points, 1 of 2 shooting.
So Thad Matta elects to switch it up, and Amir Williams goes out of the game. And Bates Diop comes back in. So both teams now with the small lineup. Remember, Mo Alley Cox has fouled out of the game for VCU.
How about Bates Diop, the huge 3 in the second half, and a couple of assists as the freshman.
Brooks will inbound. Graham remains. Johnson is in. Lewis is in. Oh, he threw it away! He threw it over Burgess's head. And a turnover for Shaka Smart's Rams.
Well, who wants to win this ball game, gentlemen? I mean, I understand the pressure. Burgess was wide open, and Brooks just led him a little bit too far.
Well, but he's thrown it the wrong way.
Well, he was throwing it towards Ohio State's basket,
yes.
But that was the only wide open guy.
Russell with 26. Brooks is on him. Screen by Loving. The double comes on him. Shot clock at 19.
Every time Russell comes off a screen and roll, they're going to switch.
See, and Loving's got to get himself in position where he can do some damage.
Scott. Bates.
And again, he did it.
He's put up 2 shots. He's hit a couple of triples.
These freshmen on Ohio State are fearless.
Lewis to Johnson. And Johnson, a mid-range one on the fly.
Nice
Gets
runner.
it to go. 1-point game. He's got 17.
Bates, Diop, D'Angelo Russell. These kids are cut from a different cloth here for Ohio State.
Approaching 2 to play in OT. Shannon Scott.
See, I like what Thad Matta did. He put D'Angelo Russell as the screener because so much attention VCU is attending towards him. Shannon Scott had a wide open avenue right down the lane.
And Scott has been very effective driving the ball at the basket throughout the game.
Lewis. Wild looking pass. Thrown away again. 2 turnovers by VCU here in the last couple of minutes.
And Ohio State, you talk about a guy making a big shot. Burgess is playing off, tries to recover, but Bates Diop knocks it down. And there's that screen you're talking about. Everybody stays with D'Angelo Russell. And here's the turnover. Thompson again. Remember, he's got those 4 personal fouls, doing a great job moving his feet and forcing a tough pass.
And that was Lewis with the turnover. You're bringing back Williams. Let's forget now, and remind you, no Briante Weber. We talked about the knee injury. He would be the normal point guard in this situation for VCU.
VCU really needs a defensive stop right here.
Freshman Jonathan Williams is on the senior, Shannon Scott.
What a lazy pass there by Scott. Very fortunate that Brooks did not come up with that steal.
Russell driving on Brooks. Oh, the move! He broke his ankles, but he couldn't get it to go. But Thompson comes up with a huge offensive rebound.
You got to be kidding me.
This kid is dazzling with the basketball.
Scott, Russell.
That's a travel there by D'Angelo Russell, and the whole bench is yelling for the travel by D'Angelo.
The Buckeyes take time. They lead by 3 in overtime on TNT.
Comes back up and picks up as D'Angelo Russell's coming over and saying, come on, Reg, that's not a travel. Well, in the pro game, it's not a travel.
That's a travel on the dance floor.
Shot clock at 20.
I love this kid. I love this kid. He's got it.
And here's VCU back in the zone again. Did that right at the end of regulation.
Bates Diop out to Thompson. The 3 is no good. The rebound by New England State of Jaquan Lewis. And they will talk it over. Shaka Smart calling time. 22.5 seconds to go in OT with Ohio State by 3.
73-70 now. The time left, 22.5 seconds. Reggie, that's much too early if you're thinking about fouling. Most coaches don't want to commit the foul to prevent the three-point shot with this much time left. What VCU needs to do, obviously Ohio State is going to be very conscious of the three-point shot, so you take it early and you go right to the basket and get a 2.
Yeah, you never want to extend the game, especially with Ohio State shooting 55% from the free throw line.
Now you can take a 3 here, but you don't need one.
Johnson outside. This is for the tie from Graham. Rebound inside by Bates Diop.
Now that kid should just hang on to the ball.
And a foul on VCU.
Graham could not have had a better look. It looked like the play was designed for Melvin Johnson to double screen.
Well, again, if you have the open 3, there's no problem with taking it, and he's wide open, and he shoots the 3 very well.
Way too much help there by Mark Loving. Very fortunate that Travion Graham did knock that down. But again, we just highlighted Ohio State today. They're only shooting 55% from the free throw line.
Meanwhile, Lewis is hobbling off the floor for the Rams, twisting an ankle. And they bring back in the freshman Larrier. It's a 1-and-1.
No, Kevin, it's a 2-shot foul. The referees are signaling a 2-shot foul. There's a little bit of confusion in the arena about whether that was the 9th foul or the 10th foul.
That's what I was looking at on the board in the arena.
But it's the 10th foul. The officials are signaling 2 shots.
And Russell from the free throw line, only 2 of 5 on the day.
I'm okay with him at the line in this situation.
Me too. I want him at the line as well.
I'm okay with him doing anything in this situation.
Could we possibly get that matchup on Saturday? The 2 freshmen, Stanley Johnson, D'Angelo Russell.
Got it. The lead is 5 with just under 5 seconds to go.
Well, Reggie, I think VCU got exactly the shot they wanted, and they had either Johnson or Graham to take that shot, and I think it's exactly the shot they wanted. The ball just simply didn't go in the basket.
And here's another difference between the pro and college game. Usually in a timeout like this, you would be able to advance the basketball in the pro game. Remember, they got to go the length of the court here with 4.9.
Well, you have to be careful if you're Ohio State. You obviously don't want to foul in this situation, but you want to put you want to put enough pressure on the ball that they have to take some time getting the ball up the court and then just let them score.
Ohio State coming in 11-7 in regular season conference play in the Big Ten. They've won 4 of their last 6. In their 7th consecutive NCAA tournament, their 9th in the last 10 years. They fought from a 12-point first-half deficit to VCU to lead by 6. Now they're up by 5 with 4.9 to go in overtime.
Now, if you're Ohio State, you want to be careful. You don't want to allow them to throw the home run on you.
Everything in front.
Williams will take it with the drive, and they let him fly in at the buzzer. It's over. Ohio State will advance to the round of 32 with an overtime win over 7th seed VCU. A big day for D'Angelo Russell. He has 28 points for the Buckeyes. And now that sets up an Ohio State-Arizona game on Saturday with 2 of college basketball's best freshmen going head-to-head. Stanley Johnson of the Wildcats, D'Angelo Russell of the Buckeyes. In overtime, the Bucks by 3. For Reggie Miller, Dan Bonner, Rachel Nichols, Kevin Harlan saying so long from Portland. Now let's take you to our studios.